Good afternoon, everybody. I am Bertier Luyt. I am the co-founder of Adesio. We came to API Days last year for the first time. We had just launched the company, and 1 year after, we already have our first clients, and we have partners that I'm happy to share the stage with today, and we will have a conversation on how APIs are driving the Industry 4.0 revolution. So with me on stage today, Bruno Bouygues, the CEO of GIS. You want to say a word about GIS? GIS.
GIS is a manufacturing company with about 1,000 people. We manufacture machinery, mostly in the field of battery charger and welding equipment.
Christophe, Head of Digital Sales for Arrow Electronics.
So happy to be there. Thank you, Bertier, for the invitation. So I am a digital sales manager for Arrow. I'm based in Brittany, a lovely place. I am taking care of South of Europe and especially API project leader for the world in Arrow.
And Cédric Castagnet, Head of Digital Transformation at Lacroix Electronics.
Cédric Castagnet, VP Purchasing for Lacroix Electronics. Not a big deal. We are subcontractor. We are an EMS, so we are manufacturing electronic products. We have 4 plants, one in France, in Tunisia, in Poland, and in Germany, and 2 others in US, let's say, US and Mexico.
Well, thank you. So at Adesio, so I had the idea during COVID. I was a student at Polytechnique, and I wrote my memoir on a consortium blockchain for the life cycle of manufactured products. And I used, as an example, some products from GIS and some technology from Arrow. And I came up with the idea to orchestrate orders from multi-suppliers to clients. And then on the other end, how do we use APIs to open catalogs and address clients and distribution? So it will be a fireside conversation. So I'll ask questions to each of you, and feel free to jump on everybody's answer if you have something to add. So Bruno, to start, how has the adoption of API transformed the way Groupe GIS operates?
So first, I was looking at the presentation just before us of the credit insurance, and we are using API, and they are connected to our ERP system with our clients, so we can grant more credit because of the automatic information. So in the world of manufacturing, data transfer between companies is relatively recent. It started with EDI for invoicing. And right now, we feel the pressure from our clients, which are mostly distributors, to receive information in a structured format. And we feel that API will be the key. And so we are slowly starting to investigate how we could better transfer, how we could create portals in which we could manage multiple distributor data information transfer. For everybody to know, we have around the world 25,000 distributors. Right now, we have thousands of different ways of sending data, and we would like to bring those 25,000 distributors into maybe a collection of API in which they could select the appropriate API for their own system. It's a journey that starts.
Thank you very much. So Christophe, you're the API leader for Europe at Arrow Electronics. How has Arrow Electronics leveraged APIs to enhance the supply chain, and how do you address your customers with your APIs?
So in fact, as you explained, Arrow Electronics is a distributor. So we are a worldwide distributor with a lot of places, more than 10,000 customers around the world. So GIS and Lacroix are our key partner for sure in France. And we are selling millions of products, millions of lines, and we were expecting to have a technology. As Bruno said, we used to have EDI because it is coming from automotive market with a lot of possibility, but only EDI managing orders. And we were thinking about managing RFQ because the process for distributor is very long. We receive RFQ, quotation with a list of items, a bill of material, etc., for a board, for a project. And at the end, we have to answer. We have to send the part. We have to send the tracking number. We have a lot of data. So we were managing the data crunching. And still today, and I guess Cédric could confirm it, we are working with flat file. It means a lot of manual tasks. And since 3 years, we are in the way to proceed automation through partners like Adesio, etc. And now we have in Europe, more than 300 customers using API. And we receive a million of calls. So before that, so the flow is complex in distribution. It takes time for our partner to be involved, to be engaged. It takes around 1 year with you for GIS, for example. And the second topic, instead of the process, the complexity of our market is new generation is coming. So we were talking about X, Y, Z, but now we are Y and Z generation. This kind of generation, new people are fully connected, tablet, touchscreen, PC, internet, direct information, real-time information, and the new generation of purchasing, of supply chain need to be connected to have either in the watch or in their mobile, the direct tracking number to be sure that they could launch in the production. So the market is there, we have the technology, and now we have to deal with some customers, with some partners, because we know the technology and the situation on the last 2 years was very complex. We were in hard allocation, the lead time of the product was very long. It was the first time in my life I saw this kind of situation. I am in distribution since 24 years. And during that, we saw customers checking through web platform, through flat file sending, etc. for emergency, for shortage. At the end, we have API. And API, it takes 3 milliseconds to get the information.
Okay, well, that's impressive. Cédric, how has Lacroix utilized APIs to streamline its procurement process so far, and what are your plans to optimize your manufacturing operations with APIs?
Maybe as a starting point, Lacroix, we are subcontractors. So as you can imagine, we have many customers with different markets, whatever they are, automotive, automations, aeronautics, military, or whatever. Closer. Okay, that's better. So it means at the end that it brings a lot of nervosity in our backlogs, in our forecast. And our job as a subcontractor is try to respect what our customers are expecting. When you do that, just to give you an idea, for us it means that we send each week 55,000 messages to all our suppliers. Okay, so we ask them to answer to those 55,000 messages. Whatever you want to pull an order, whatever you want to push an order, you cannot do that by hand. It's not any. So, like I will jump on what you say. We are using EDI today, but EDI is having a cost. You have some inertia. You need to invest. You need to pay also by message, by kilo-octet, and so on. So you cannot do that for all your suppliers. And to give you an idea, on 2,000 suppliers, we are managing only 20 in EDI today, which means 70% of all our messages anyway. So APIs, that's a key and strategic project for us. We are trying to deploy. And another advantage, I will jump on what you say, Christophe. Lead time is key. You all know that electronics was very tough, electronic components. If you wanted to buy a car, you needed 1 year. If you wanted to buy anything, it took 3-4 months more than before. So if I want to update all my lead times, I need nearly 2-3 months. And we have a project which should start in January to update our lead times every week. So that's key for us.
Amazing. Bruno, how do you see APIs contributing to the further evolution of Industry 4.0? We've been discussing a lot about what it is, but how do you see APIs influence Industry 4.0 in the coming years?
It is very slowly starting. today, what the three of us face is the necessity to transfer in an ecosystem a large amount of data to be treated extremely fast by a limited number of people. The tools in the past were not really existing, and I think API is the key to open the door for this massive flow of information that can flow through the ecosystem. Because when I manufacture a product, of course, a lot of things is done in GIS, but I rely on many other suppliers, and we need to share almost real-time information. So if you were to ask me, is API one of the fundamental key for Industry 4.0 in the coming 2 to 5 years, I will say yes. If you ask me, is API having contributed to an acceleration of Industry 4.0 right now? No. So we are about to start, and it will be an extremely fast acceleration. One last point, we haven't talked so much about Adesio, the company of Bertier. GIS, we manufacture 600,000 machines. We buy per year maybe 500 million electronic components. During the crisis, with the delay that increased significantly from 6 weeks to 70 weeks, we needed to increase the purchasing department of electronic components from 1 person to 6 persons, just to check on the delivery. We are using Adesio now, and we are back to 1 person. So the same, the complexity of API, the API enable complexity to collapse. And so you have productivity gain along the value chain, which are enormous. And this is why I believe people will invest in API massively.
Well, thank you. We love working with your team. Thank you very much. Cédric, what challenge have you encountered using API or implementing APIs at Lacroix or in your businesses? Is there any point of awareness or challenges you faced?
When we are talking API in Lacroix, it's a quite new topic. We are talking about something which is maybe a few months ago, which started a few months ago. Then the question was what we should do. As I mentioned just before, we have 2,000 suppliers. We talk about EDI. First idea is to replace EDI. Okay, not so easy. 2,000 suppliers, with who? I cannot define an API with each supplier. So which kind of standard we need to define with Arrow, for instance. So the way we did it, we selected our biggest ones to try to make our own standard. Okay, but even if you do that, we was talking also about lead time. The question mark after is what is the integrity of the data you will have? Is it some data which will be, for instance, 1 week old, 1 year old? You don't know. When we talk about lead times which are changing every week, that's critical to know this information. Another information that Bruno also shared a bit, it's even when we get this data of lead time, what are we doing with that? Because you get massive data that you did not have the chance to have before, or you needed few weeks or months to get them. But then you have different way to buy. You buy in consignment, you buy in short lead time, you buy whatever. So you cannot set up or upload like that the data in your ERP. So in between, you need an interface, an intelligence or whatever, like you are doing, to clearly set up the right system, correctly the system.
Thank you.
Yes, what is the problem of API, the limitation of API, is that it enables an enormous amount of data, but you don't have the time to treat it. So you need to have software that enables you to pinpoint you the key elements which are important for you. And this is why platforms like Adesio or others, they are extremely important because they are able to go into the database, analyzing millions of lines and highlighting the 10 lines which are critical for you for this task today. And this makes you win an enormous amount of time.
Christophe, what advice, and I know it's a great part of your job, would you give to your clients or to manufacturers who want to jumpstart on the journey on API?
to our clients, it's clear, and we have a lot of clients in this room, is to go and to jump to API, because today EDI is asynchronous mode. You need to invest to make a lot of tests, and for API, it is more or less an open source. Today, we have to put in place the standardization. So for our customer, our partner, like this, already done with Lacroix, under progress, we have to go there. And we need you, because the market is there, the technology is mature with us and with a lot of other distributors. But if I consider the manufacturer point of view, today we are distributor. To be simple, we are buying products to 400 suppliers, Texas Instruments, Toshiba, Intel, etc. We are stocking these components or this item in our warehouses, located in US, in Europe, etc. And we are selling. So imagine the number of transactions, etc., and the number of items dealt with our manufacturer. So today, our manufacturer, our suppliers, we have already most of them in EDI, but it is, as I said, asynchronous mode. It is not real time. It is batch during the night, during the week, etc. So not in live. And today, we have already one supplier making the state of the art in API in the world, doing that. So please, all the distributor, all the supplier, put this kind of technology in your strategy for the next months, because it is required. As I said, the market is there, the customers are still involved in this kind of technology, and now, for me, as Arrow, this technology exists since 3 years. So my first development was one customer located in Barcelona, because I'm taking care of South of Europe, and it takes 2 weeks to make it happen. 2 weeks. This customer, I met the CEO, small company of 70 people. He said, yes, Christophe, I'd like to be in API. Could you explain in a short term? I explained. I made test after that with 80 people, 2 weeks, and we were the first to be there, a company of 70 people. And at the end, they have now all the supplier, all the distributor linked in API. And in real time, the purchasing team could have all information. And for me, the market is there. It is mature. So please be ready for 2024 to be there. And if I made a short analysis, I made some comparison, I made some discussion in France at European level. EDI is very well known in France, in Germany, not in South of Europe. And why? Because it was automotive market with forecasts, with some specific consignment stock, but EDI is formatted, and it is only for order. API is more than this. And we would like to be in the future in this technology, and we are ready for that, for sure. And the advantage of API, real-time communication, live communication, synchronous communication means I would like to have this information because tomorrow I will launch my new project for Peugeot, Renault, etc., like this. I would like to know if I can send the production at 8 o'clock in the morning. I could have the information right now.
Well, thank you. Bruno, it all started with this conversation about your ERPs and your information systems, and we now see that APIs are a sales channel, but we have also those conversations about all the other components of the company and all the other aspects, from R&D to marketing and distribution and to warehousing. And how do you see APIs fostering collaboration within GIS, but also with your partners and industry ecosystems?
API is a door. And what we could see inside our own organization or with partners which are outside our organization is mostly the door were closed and we had to take the telephone to get the information from on the other side of the door. So each time we use an API, we open a communication flow where the data from the next department or the next factory or the next supplier or the next client flows naturally in. As a manufacturer, my feeling is that if API are used correctly and are developed for supplier, for client, but also between different services, productivity will increase, which means operating results will increase. In GIS, we suffer a lot still today to miss key information in certain departments, which create unnecessary lead time, or which create, as we discussed, production planning, which arrive on the production line incomplete, because we don't have real time. We use EDI, which means data are from 24 hours ago, but we need faster data. So my feeling is that we will try in GIS to have an API culture, and we will develop our own API, we'll use other API, and tomorrow we'll have a software to manage those API properly and to protect them and to ensure that it is flowing correctly. So to answer your question, definitively, yes.
Thank you. Cédric, and I know it's a pressing question for Lacroix, but can you tell us about how APIs can be used to improve environmental sustainability and resource optimization within Lacroix, but probably across the industry?
The topic, environmental sustainability. Okay, that's the topic of the next months and years, I think, for our planet.
I'm happy you got the question.
I will try to do that in 1 minute. Clearly here, before to improve, we need to know, and we need to monitor where we are and what we are doing. First thing we all know, which is quite standard, this is carbon footprint. Okay, what is our CO2 emission and so on. Even to calculate that, you need to get many informations. I don't know if I tell you before, but in Lacroix, we are talking about 50,000 part numbers actives. For each one, you need to know what is the country of origin. And during the year, you can change from one manufacturer to another one for one component. So that's something which is living. Just to know that, just to get this information, that's not so easy because the manufacturer itself is sometimes not able to tell you where is coming from this component. It's not the same if it's coming from Europe or if it's coming from China or Malaysia. Electronics is a worldwide business, in fact, market. So we need to get massive data. Country of origin is an example. That's not the only one. And then we are also facing, if we are thinking about environment, some material we cannot use. We have some norms in electronics which are rich or roach from, I don't know, 20, 30 years ago, many years. So that's something we are mastering quite. Those norms, maybe to explain you, that's to make sure you do not use some raw materials, which could be forbidden. The Luyt, for instance. But that's not all. Every year now we get some new regulations. I will not tell you all of them, but and then now since 10 years, we have some wars, conflicts, and at the top of those regulations, you get some other ones which are making forbidden to get some raw material from few mines, which could finance, let's say, the country which is fighting against you. So for US, you are not able to buy in Daesh countries or whatever. Currently, the new information we have, it's how you avoid to buy in Russia. So all this means that you need to get many, many data about the origin. And again, here it's how you get the data, because behind you need to commit up to your customers that you will respect the norms which are mandatory to allow our own customers to sell in the products they want to sell their own product.
Interesting.
And I would like to extend the discussion because you are talking about ROHS, SVHE, etc. So we have a lot of new rules coming, and the advantage of API, it is open, so it is not structured, and we could add easily the information. And for example, for automotive, you have some specific qualification, PPAP documentation, and we could add very fast this kind of document instead of using EDI, which is formatted without any extension, without any postability.
And to jump on what you say, Bruno, just before, if I do not have API, I will need to get 4 or 5 people minimum to manage all those data. So that's just a chance for us to keep our competitiveness, because to get people, it's not so much difficult, let's say, but then what will be your competitiveness if you get 10 people more? It's not just possible. You cannot do that.
Maybe what people need to understand is the world of manufacturing comes from ERP system. Those ERP systems, they were very simple in the past. You had a part number, a price, a weight, maybe a description, and that's it. Today, with the pressure from the norms that are coming, 4 information is not enough. We need a data-rich information on any single part that we buy, and we need to do some statistics for customs, for laws, to be compliant. And today, when we get data from EDI, I would say they are not rich enough. And the only way to get to the density of data that we need for each part is to use API. Because today, the data storage of EDI is, in the case of JIT, extremely poor. And we cannot use it. We can use it for transaction-based. I buy, I sell, super easy. But as soon as somebody says, can you give me the statistics of this gallium component that you use in this semiconductor? How much weight did you buy this year? This is almost impossible to know. And you can only get those information through an incredible amount of data that you can only transfer through API and not EDI.
Well, thank you very much. I guess we're almost done here. We're very lucky at Adesio to have great advocates for APIs and partners like all of you. At Adesio, we see APIs as Lego bricks that we can build systems on. And the sales channel is only the beginning for us. And we'll be back next year to present you with our new products, I'm sure. Thank you very much, Bruno, Christophe, Cédric. It was a pleasure sharing this conversation with you.
Thank you, Bertier.
Thank you, Bertier.